What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today, we're going over BBCan Season 11 Digital Daily number 41. Now, we did have two dailies that dropped on Thursday and Friday. I didn't end up doing any recaps for them, but for the most part, there wasn't a lot to them. On the Thursdays daily, we didn't really get much. The only thing that really came from that was Kuzi had told Ty about the crown, which, to be honest, shouldn't be that much of a surprise to Ty. I feel like he should have known that that group was working together. He might have thought maybe he was a little bit more involved in it than he really was. But overall, I don't think he should have been really surprised by any of that info. Friday's daily was all pre-eviction, so Kuzi was still around, and the only thing that we really got from that was more of the fight with Daniel and Kuzi. Otherwise, there wasn't a lot of really new information or anything that was really worthwhile in there, and again, it was all pre-eviction, so it doesn't really affect that much going forward necessarily in the game. But then we got a daily today, and also didn't get a lot of information, but we did get some. We know who HoH is. Anika, which means everyone left in the house has won at least one competition, because Anika was the only person who had not won anything yet. Now she's the HoH. But we also might have a bit of an idea on what her plans are for nominations, and I think they're terrible. I think they're really bad for her. That's a thing that you guys have to keep in mind too. Whenever I say oh, I think the plan's terrible, I'm always trying to think what's best in their interest, not necessarily what I want to see, right? At this point, I want to see Ty go all the way to the final two. I just want to see him win out. But in Anika's best interest, it's to try and keep Daniel safe. Daniel is her closest ally. Ty did save her with the veto, but that was just Ty trying to make a move to get Nene out so that he could have more control with Renee and Claudia. It's something that we've kind of realized now, kind of thinking about it more, and someone in the comments actually pointed this out, and it really just makes a lot of sense. Nene was the only one that Ty feels like he couldn't control what she did. He didn't want her to use that veto to save Renee, and she did it anyway. So for Ty, he felt like, listen, I could probably work with Renee, I could probably work with Claudia, but Nene, if I'm working with the three of them, if it's Nene, Claudia, and Ty, he didn't feel like he was in as much control. Though, I'll be honest, I don't think Renee is very controllable either. I think she'll end up still doing what's best for her rather than just listening to what Ty wants. But it's the way he chose to go about it, and that's why we're kind of in the situation we are right now, where it's Ty, Renee, and Claudia, and not Ty, Nene, and Claudia left in the house. So it does seem like there's that trio going there. I think Daniel and Anika also think they have Ty kind of on their side as well. So Ty's kind of found himself in a perfect little spot. So what's Anika's plans here going into HoH? It seems like she's going to nominate Renee and Claudia. Claudia feels very strongly that she's the target of the two, she's the one that Anika wants out more than Renee. Honestly, I feel like maybe Anika doesn't care. Either one of them can go. Here's the problem though. If it puts up Renee and Claudia, who's most likely to win veto again? Ty. Everybody's playing in veto. There's no, backdooring or anything like that. Everybody plays. So who's most likely to win this veto? Ty. If Ty wins and takes down Claudia or even takes down Renee, who has to go up? There's no possible other replacement other than Daniel. They then own 2 votes, and Daniel gets voted out over the other girl. So if you're Anika, your best bet here is just put Ty right up on the block. Hope that, even if Renee wins it, she takes down either Ty or Claudia, and then you're forced to put Daniel up. But even then, right, there's much more likely that Ty will win the veto than it would be Renee or Claudia to win the veto. So it just doesn't make any sense to keep Ty off the block. Because, yeah, if Ty has to come down, you could put one of the girls up as the replacement. But if Ty wins the veto and he's off the block, he has full control again in the game. And I just don't understand why they would do this unless Anika really strongly feels that Ty won't use the veto and he'll keep noms the same. But also, why would he do that, right? Why keep Daniel in the game if you're then just with these three girls, which I feel like Ty is going to think he's got a huge edge on going into any of the competitions. I just, it's a wild move here from Anika, and I'm kind of at a loss on why she thinks this is best. Other things that came from the dailies was that we have the house on slop at the moment. They're all eating slop. I guess it was some sort of punishment or just Big Brother messing with them. I don't know. But it's rough because this is the time of year, right, where at the end of the season, there's not a lot really going on, and it's just not a lot of info. Normally we'll have the live feeds where there's, hours worth of stuff that we can go over. But here we didn't even get 2 hours of a daily. And the last few dailies didn't have much either to really break down on them as well. But yeah, that's what we're looking at going into this week. Anika is HoH, potentially going to nominate Renee and Claudia. Ty is not going to be on the block, so there's an opportunity for Daniel to end up going home if Ty wins the veto. One other thing we can kind of do here, just to kind of just discuss it at the moment, is what we think the jury is going to do, because we are getting down to that point of like what happens in the final two scenarios. So we have Dan. Where's Dan probably leaning? If I had to guess, his number one pick would be Ty. I think Ty is the person he would most likely vote for in a final two scenario. I think that's probably the one Ty has locked up maybe the most of anyone in the house, especially now that Nene's gone. And this is also maybe a reason why Ty wanted Nene out too, is because he knew that, hey, in a situation where Ty's in a final two, Nene would be somebody that could take Dan's vote away from him. Nene and Dan had a very close relationship. So if he could get Nene out, that really locks up Dan as most likely to vote for Ty. If Ty's not in there and it's any of the other four in the final two, I feel like his vote's kind of a toss-up. He maybe would vote for Daniel. I could see him maybe voting for Renee, Claudia, even Anika. That one's a little bit more fuzzy, but his number one choice would be Ty. Jonathan, I feel like Jonathan, he's got the whole crown thing going. And they kept talking about, someone from the crown's going to win, someone from the crown, like whoever's in the crown in the end, we're going to vote for them. So maybe he votes for Daniel and Anika, but I could also see him really easily voting for Claudia to win if she was in the final two. For example, if it was Ty Claudia in the final two, I think he votes for Claudia. If it's Renee Claudia, I think he also votes for Claudia. He was calling her his little sister. They had the whole East Coast connection kind of a thing going on. So I feel like with Jonathan, it might be kind of a three-way tie with Daniel, Anika, and Claudia as maybe his number one picks. I feel like it's very unlikely he would vote Ty in a final two scenario. Maybe he would vote for Ty over Renee, but even then, not 100% sure on where his head that will be at with that. Santina, really don't think she's ever going to vote for Ty. I don't think there's a chance in the world that she votes for Ty. Maybe she changes her tone if Ty wins all the way to the end, but I just don't see her wanting to vote for Ty. I also don't see her wanting to vote for Renee. Her and Renee had a lot of beef inside the house. Her and Claudia even as well. I could see her wanting to vote for Daniel. I think Daniel might be one of her top picks for who she would want to vote for. Her and Anika had issues over waffles. So I feel like maybe for Santina right now, her number one choice would be Daniel. And then after that, because of all the beef she had, maybe Claudia and maybe even Ty. I just said I don't see her voting for Ty in any scenario, but once you look at everybody else who's left, it's almost like Ty could be the best of the worst options for her. But I think Daniel would probably be like her number one choice on who she would want to vote for. With Hope had a pretty good, personal relationship with Renee. He was obviously in the crown, so maybe he leans towards Daniel and Anika. He didn't really have much of a connection with Claudia, and then he worked with Ty a lot. So if he sticks with the crown, it's Daniel and Anika who he would end up voting for. Of the two of them, I would imagine he would probably vote Daniel over Anika, but not 100% sure how that would go either. And then I think there are scenarios where he would vote for Ty. I 100% think that Hope could vote for Ty to win. Kuzi has said in her interviews at this point, she is voting for Ty. Ty is her number one pick that she would vote for in the end. I think she's already said like she would never vote for Daniel at this point. She's completely turned her back on him. Kuzi might go down as the most petty and bitter jury member that we've ever seen. Just completely turning her back on the two people she was closest to in the entire game right at the end. Just completely wild turn of events there. And then Nene, I think, would vote Renee and Claudia over anyone if they were in the final two. After that, I think she might vote Daniel, maybe Anika, but I could also see her just ending up going for Ty as well. So there's still a lot of question marks as far as who would potentially have the most votes, but it does seem kind of likely now at this point, if Ty can get to the final two, he might have 3 votes locked in already with Kuzi, Hope, and Dan, depending on what the scenarios are. Especially if neither of the crown members, Daniel or Anika, can make it. That really frees things up for Ty to potentially win. And as it sits, he is kind of working with the final 3 scenario of having it be himself, Renee, and Claudia. So if they get Anika and Daniel out, if Daniel ends up going this week, if Ty can win the veto and get Daniel up on the block, we might be looking at Ty winning this game. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of what's going on inside the house right now? Who do you think has the best chance of winning over the jury? Maybe even list, who you think jury members would vote for, just like I did there. It's a little hard to tell now because obviously the front runner was Kuzi, but with Kuzi gone, opens up a lot of things, and it could potentially be Ty who wins this entire season if he just stays off the block. And he's found himself in a really nice spot here. Maybe even hopefully, right? Like best case scenario for him is he wins the veto, takes Claudia down. He just says, look, I have to take Claudia down. I have to save her. Like, I can't not save her. Daniel has to go up, and then they vote Daniel out. Anika still might want to work with him, but also might realize like she can't. But at that point, she doesn't have much options in the final 4. It all comes down to veto, because in the final 4, veto is what holds all the power. All the power. So Ty could end up being completely in control going forward for the rest of the game. What do you guys think? Let me know in those comments down below. Also, you can check out the links to all my socials in the description and pinned comment down below. If you are new here, though, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time.